This is part of a crackdown that China is doing against foreign apps. Basically, the app developers themselves have to register their apps in China. So think Facebook, uh, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it today. They all have to register within China to be able to be accessed there. Obviously, they don't run their services there, but Chinese citizens will download VPNs, virtual private networks, to get around that so-called Great Firewall to be able to access those apps. And so because of that, China wants these companies to register. The problem is those companies don't want to register because if they do, then they may have to do some form of data sharing agreement with China, and they're opposed to that. And so as a result, this kind of falls on Apple. If these companies don't register, Apple has to either remove them from the App Store entirely or could face legal ramifications in China. And so Apple essentially reached out trying to get clarification on this, according to this journal report. And really, the issue is how much damage could it do to Apple if some of these apps ended up staying in the App Store? Don't forget, there are still millions of people that access those apps via VPNs. Apple has made concessions to China before regarding the data laws that they have in place, including holding Chinese citizen data in China. And so this could be a broader issue if it cuts into Apple's services revenue through the App Store, but it also could be a problem for Apple as far as relationship goes with China. And they want to ensure that they can keep that in place, not only because of the huge amount of revenue that the country generates for them, whether that's through services or through the sale of devices, but also because that's where the bulk of their manufacturing still resides, and which is why they're continuing to try and move that overseas.
All right. Dan, thanks so much for continuing to track this for us. Some big movements there, big news, of course, surrounding Apple, and we'll continue to keep tabs on shares of AAPL.